What is up, boys and girls and everybody in the spectrum? Today, this lesson, guys, we're going to, let's kill all these screens. Actually, I'm actually working too much with my mouse in here. The last couple of hours. I don't know, maybe I'm lazy. What we're gonna do is, like I said before, our aggregator here, we're gonna make that a little bit more nicer, so you know what you need to do if you're gonna deploy, if you're going to hand over your service to DevOps team, right? Still, the aggregator is not 100% complete. Let me make this a little bit smaller. So what we're gonna do, the first thing is configuration for this aggregator, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new file here. It's gonna be a .env, right? And I'm gonna say ag. Let's do a prefix here. We can also load the environment file directly from. I think we're gonna put up our whole stack here in one time. So we're gonna make it in a general purpose env file, right? Aggregator HTTP endpoint, right? That's what we're gonna do. Endpoint. It's gonna be a local host. Actually, to be honest, we can do 4000 in here, right? Ag gRPC endpoints is going to be, I think it's 3001, I guess. 3001. Just like this. gRPC endpoint, that's gonna be fine. I'm gonna close this thing. And this thing, the next thing I'm gonna do is maybe open up aggregator main here, main aggregator, yeah, and I'm going to import this. I'm going to delete these things here, to be honest, because we're not going to use these flags anymore, right? We're going to load the environment file, and that's going to be gRPC listen adder. So we could say here in this thing, gRPC listen adder is going to be os getenv. Ag gRPC endpoint caps typing. Oh yo, that's that. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna copy this. We're gonna say HTTP listen adder. It's gonna be the HTTP endpoint. Yeah, please, Anthony, type this. Type these caps. We can do this and this. That's perfectly fine. Actually, to be honest, can we do this? We can't. Okay. Wait, yes, that's fine. Let me quickly think about some stuff here, and that's going to be how I think I made a mistake in the M file, to be honest. Can I translate this to caps? Probably not. Aggregator HTTP endpoint. For some reason, my caps typing is not on point. Not gonna lie. Aggregator gRPC endpoint. This is better. That's what we need. The next thing we're gonna do is I think I'm gonna search real quick here. I'm uploading some videos for you guys. It's going to be go m files. This guy is what we need, go.env. So I'm gonna copy this thing, copy, go get this thing. We don't need to specify HTTP here, so we're gonna say github.com, press enter. That's perfectly fine. Open up main here, and we have an init already, so we could actually do this here. We could say if r is going to be .env load, and the error is not nil. We are going to say log fatal errors. All right, that's nice. That's nice. So if I do a make ag, is it going to do that? It's trying to listen to 80, so we have a problem. Shit, this is the OBU. I'm a legit scumbag. Main aggregator. Let's do a funky init here. Actually, this funky init, I don't like init. I'm gonna be honest, because in it is like, for me, it's like a hidden thing, and it caused me some problems in the past, where somebody was doing some stuff in it, and it was in another file somewhere, and I didn't know, and it was just just be verbose, guys. Don't be afraid to be verbose, and let's do this whole at the beginning here. We're gonna say if add is going to be .env load, and the error is not null here. We're going to just log fatal out the error and call it a day. And this should work. Actually, to be honest, this should be Yoho, right? Hey, it's fine. Dude, so annoying. What's going on here with this Golang and his packages, man? That's something is so annoying. It's crazy. Go.env. Oh my goodness. All right, now we're good. Make egg. Let's see. All right, now it's perfectly fine. Right now we have this environment running. Do we need something else here? We have our TCP listener. We have our metrics thing. That's fine. Do we need to do more with these handle get invoice? It's going to be a get request, I guess. So we could do something the same thing like this here. Copy that. And we could say here to make it good at the beginning here, if method post is not get here, we can do the same thing. Method not supported, that's fine. OBU, yada yada. I don't think we have any more of dependency here. We don't use Kafka. This is a very simple service, to be honest. Let me see in store. There's a memory store. It could be a Mongo store, but we don't need that for now. Something cool to do, guys. What we could do here is what I most of the time is a pattern that I'm always using. It's not a fancy pattern. We could say, for example, egg store type or something. That's going to be memory. Can I do this like that? Memory, right? And then in main aggregator, by the way, we could say something like, where do we make our store here? Store is going to be, for example, we could say store make store like that. We're going to delete this. We're going to make a function here, make store, which is going to return a storage, right? And we could say switch os getenv aggregator store type, I guess. Case memory store, just like this, and then default, actually, to be honest, because in your case, maybe if you have multiple, you can add multiple cases here. Default, we're gonna basically do a log fatal out, because there's no need to basically catch the error, because if there is no store to be found, if it's misconfigured, it cannot boot up, right? So we could say, can we do fatal F here? Invalid store type given %s. Actually, to be honest, let's delete, copy this. I actually delete this and say that type or T is going to be this of store type, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to say switch store type here, so we don't need to fetch it multiple times here. You can say store type in here, if that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, in this case, it's a little bit of a problem because let's do return null for the compiler, right? Make egg, right? So it's going to be memory storage. It's all fine, right? So that's that. Now we have some configuration here, which is pretty sweet. Do we need something else, right? Let's check our files here, middleware. That's going to be our metrics. I'm not quite sure if we need to expose these in a config file? I don't think so. These are calculator stuff here. Yes, that's fine. Service also pretty fine in my opinion. And gRPC also pretty fine. So in my client has some problems here. This is a very important aspect, and it's good that we found this. And I also think we have some problems with our gRPC that we didn't fix before. So this is basically, it's going to dial 3001. The question rather is, it's a client for ourselves, right? It's a client for ourselves. That's a little bit of, actually, to be honest, why don't we dial this endpoint here? What's going on? We should dial our endpoint here, to be honest. This is a client. We don't need environment variables for that. New credentials, that's fine. So that's fixed. I think we are good to go in this case. Just double checking here. Request invoice, that's fine. Do we have an HTTP client? See endpoint, that's perfectly fine, right? We didn't do that with the gRPC, so that's fixed. So I think we have that set in our aggregator. What the next step we should do is basically, what I don't like, we should make our Docker file here. That's also very important. Maybe we can do that. So the aggregator. What you can also do is make a Docker compose file. But like I said, this is very dependent on what kind of deployment system your company has, right? If it's good to make a Docker file, make a Docker file, right? Maybe you need Docker compose. Most of the time it will not be, unless for your development setup, right? If you want to do a quick Docker compose up so you can boot up the whole system, that's maybe a good idea for a video to do, to be honest. Why not? That's going to take some time because things need to depend on each other and everything. So we need to figure it out in another video. It's going to be a little bit longer here. I'm just checking what do we miss to basically deliver this to the DevOps team. They have everything, right? They have an M file. They can just set these stuff in Docker or what, maybe Jenkins. Like I said, it's very dependent on what they use. The store type is that endpoint. I think we're fine. I think we're pretty fine here. Yeah. The next video, guys, we are going to basically do some logging and some metrics for our transportation stuff, because for example, I'm going to show you here in main, I think we have handle aggregate, right? This is basically an HTTP transport function, right? The problem is if we have an error here, this is not going to get logged. And why is that? That's because it's not hitting the business logic, right? This error is not going to get logged. This error is going to get logged, right? This error here is going to get logged. So I want to make some kind of a logging system and see if we can push, instrument it a little bit better and see if we can push that to Grafana. Also, that would be nice, a nice thing to have. And then we're gonna maybe do the Docker thingies, and then we are going to make a nice Grafana dashboard, and then we should be good, in my opinion. Also, I was planning to do a video about service discovery, but like I said, service discovery, most of the time, like I said, it's out of the scope for you as a developer, right? Because service I can teach you, like I have a video on YouTube about that, about, for example, console to do service discovery, but you're probably not going to use console for that. It's probably going to be, I don't know, It depends all the time. You don't need to take care of a lot of these things unless you do client-side load balancing, for example. And what is client-side load balancing? That's basically, if you open up our client here, right, we're going to have one endpoint. But that could be basically, we could have multiple endpoints, right? Multiple endpoints, and then you can load balance based on the endpoints you have. That would be nice. Let's try to do that, to be honest. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good videos ideas here. Like I said, client-side load balancing. It's used sometimes. It's used sometimes. Not all the time, but it's getting used most of the regularly. So I'm gonna note that. I'm just thinking because I don't want to start now on this load balancing thing, and this video needs to be abrupted, and then I don't like that. I want to have straight to the point videos. One video, one topic, right? So I think the configuration has been set. A lot of videos will come. I see you in the next one. Peace out.